There are high expectations as the UMass Lowell men's soccer Riverhawks ready for the 2009 campaign. The team is coming off one of its best seasons ever, a 13-4-4 finish that included a trip to the NCAA Regional, their fourth trip in the last 6 years. A preseason poll ranked the Riverhawks 8th in the country, and Northeast 10 Conference coaches voted the Riverhawks 3rd in the league. One notable change, a new head coach. Bryan is now at the reins, and we had a chance to sit down and talk with him. So now, a conversation with UMass Lowell men's soccer head coach Bryan. For you, is it still a learning experience? Are you still learning about your team? Are they still learning about you?
Yeah, it's a process. So, for us, I think every training session that we have together, the time that we've had together so far has been terrific. But until you get into the heat of battle and start playing games and get into the rhythm of the season, I don't think that you really get to know your team as well as you need to. But so far, we've been going at it for about 2 weeks now. It's been very, very positive.
From the standpoint of preparation, did you spend time looking at films trying to learn about this team from whatever we might have compiled about the past?
Yeah, Coach Priestley and I, the previous coach, are close and know each other well, and he was able to fill me in on a number of guys. I've seen film. I know a number of the players when I came in, but I still felt like this is a fresh team, a new team. You lose guys like Matty Dubois, Jamie Wangia, Timmy Bankston, a bunch of these guys, I think, and that creates a little bit of a vacuum, a leadership vacuum, and so now the big question is who steps in and fills it, see what kind of identity we can set up with our new team, so a new personality.
Do you like this team? And again, it's been a couple of weeks of practice, so
yeah,
it's a small sample size, but do you like this team you've assembled?
I really do. And I've told these guys, and we've had so much fun with this group. It's got a ton of personality. These guys will work hard. The soccer has been very good at times. At times it's been a little fragmented, but I think that's to be expected at this stage of the season. But these guys, they're into it. They're passionate. They want to win. We'll have to just wait and see how we do. But we've had a fun 2 weeks so far, and now we're ready to get out and test ourselves.
In building a team, is this a team that reflects you, your coaching philosophies, what you want, or because most of these guys that are here you didn't pick, this team's got to reflect what they do well rather than necessarily what you love about how to play soccer?
I think it's a combination of both. We've got guys who've been here. I certainly have my way of seeing the game, and I think a number of these guys have a similar vision of how to play. For me, the game has always been about being able to pass and move. We're not a team that's just a kick and run type of team that will just knock it down the field and chase after it. We want to find guys here at UMass Lowell who can compete and who can think and who can make decisions on the field, on the ball, and look to connect with their teammates quickly. And I really do feel, some of the scrimmages we've had, inter-squad games, and we had a scrimmage against Dartmouth last week, we were able to really get those connections going. So, as far as reflecting my personalities, I think it's too early to tell, but all indications are that this is a group that will really get out there and compete and try to connect with the ball.
How good a club can this be? How good a team can this be?
The big question for me, and I think the rest of the coaching staff, is where we're going to get goals from. We've got some good guys returning, and the personality, the leadership, the chemistry. Like I said before, you lose some pretty good characters off of last year's team, and so now it's a matter of who steps into the void. You don't learn that stuff until you get into the heat of battle, and so we're kind of anxiously awaiting to see how it turns out.
Do you feel, though, that you have people capable of stepping into that void?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, some of the young guys now can step in and assert themselves on the field, and, we've got guys like Johnny Valencia, we've got Mateus Candido, Ryan Richards, Rudy Cocandrel on the back, Big Mike Nattori. We've got some solid guys who I think have very competitive personalities, are willing to push their teammates every day in training. For me, that's the essence of a team, is the work that you do on a day-to-day basis and trying to get better each day. And those guys, among a few others, are really pushing the group forward.
Assess for me strengths and weaknesses of this team.
I think as far as our strengths are concerned, I think we're pretty solid up the middle. We're a little inexperienced on the flanks. It'll be determined. Can we get goals out of Stephen Pochner? Can we get goals out of Steve Fitzpatrick? Can we score goals out of the midfield? Through Mateus and Johnny Valencia. Those are big questions for us. How do we deal with with not being successful in a game or being frustrated or missing some chances and dealing with all those little things that I think with a young team, it's hard for them to deal with. We've got some very experienced guys. Are we able to deal with that type of frustration that comes with every game? So we'll have to wait and see. Weaknesses, there's a few things that we continue to work on, but I feel like we definitely have a good solid starting point right now.
Do we have the goaltending?
We have a goalkeeper who's very experienced. Ryan Richards is back, and he's been solid for us in the preseason. He's one of the top goalkeepers in the league, and I will say I feel like the other goalkeepers who are behind Ryan have done a great job in training and are constantly pushing each other every day. Matt Lavery, Mike Ferrari, Pete Rozov, those guys are working each training session to be ready if their chance comes.
What are realistic goals for this team this season?
That's a good question. We always want to compete for the championship of the league and get into the national tournament. So, how far this group can go, it will be a matter of, a little bit of luck, injuries, good form towards the end of the season. That will be to be determined. So we'll see. But I think this is a solid group, and now it's just a matter of seeing how they do, in battle.
In recent years, we've gone to the NCAA tournament with pretty good regularity. Mm-hmm. What does it take to go the next step, to win the regional, to go to the national championship?
I think you need some depth. I think you need some depth coming off the bench because this league and this region is one of the toughest, if not the toughest, in the country. And so to make your way through this league against the Southern Connecticut, Southern New Hampshire, Pierce, playing teams like Dowling in this region, it's a difficult road. And so you need to have some depth. You need to have a little luck. You need to have talent, which I think we have in a number of good spots. Once you get into the tournament, it's almost sometimes a coin flip. The games are tight. One mistake here or there usually influences the result of the games. It's just a matter of taking advantage of your opportunities. So,
what kind of coach are you? Are you a disciplinarian? Are you a player's coach?
I guess my philosophy has always been that it's a player's game. It's not like, Bill Belichick, where you can call a timeout and gets plays set up and everything is orchestrated. And, this is a game where you have to make decisions on the field. And so I think the good coaches are the ones that can put those guys in situations in training where they're making decisions. And you're setting the demands for the game. And the game is telling them, hey, you need to play faster, you need to be sharper, you need to do a better job defensively, you need to communicate. We, I think, as a coaching staff, really try to make sure these guys, when we train, that they understand what the demands are at this level. For me, I'm not going to chase the guys around making sure their hair is cut or that they've shaved, or, we expect them to be sharp when training comes. We expect them to represent themselves in the university with class on and off the field. That's something that I think we try to strive for each day.
Finally, a Massachusetts kid, Red Sox country.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you end up falling in love with soccer?
When I was young, we lived in Medway, which is about 15 minutes from Foxborough. So in '78, when the T-Men came in the NASL, I would go to all their games. Really fell in love with it and knew all those guys from the program and watched them, and that was really the start. The NASL, I'm an NASL baby, so it's been fun.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you, Bob.